So today is gonna have, I'm gonna be filming two videos for two different shows. So for today's video, I'm gonna do the review on the Legacies episode, and this is a new thing for me because I never done a Legacy review yet until now. So let's get on with the video. Okay, so on the new episode of Legacies, as you all know, I won't be able to watch the new episode when it comes out on the day when it comes out until it goes on the Still View app the next day. So I finally got to watch it today since it came out. So let's get on the review of it. And my reaction on it. So I watched the whole episode and it was really like mind-blowing and amazing, but also a little bit shocking, because recently last year they mentioned that they're gonna bring Kai Parker back sometime, I think the episode of this month or next month. I'm excited to see that because this episode leans towards to that. So in the previous episode, Josie finds out that if this sand block breaks, that all the black magic would go to her and she'd be like dark Josie. And so she tells her sister that, she tells Lizzie that and her father that, so they are now trying to find a way how to like prevent that. And they also shows us the story on how one of the witches, Alyssa Lang or Chang, I forgot what's her last name in the show, how she got there and what happened. And so that was pretty interesting to find out. So in the first part of the episode, it shows us that Hope goes into her room, which she is roommated with Alyssa, and she finds Alyssa making out with their classmate Jed on her bed. She asks her why does she have to be on her bed to do that, and Alyssa's like, because your bed needed to see some action or something. And then she says she's gonna crash at Landon's, and Alyssa tells her, good luck at holding hands. And so the new monster that they don't know that the necromancer made was there, and he saw Alyssa, and he decided to target her because she's like a mean girl, and he thought that it was easy to target her insecurities because so that would happen. Then they had, because the episode was going around Coven Day, and they had one of the students named Raid do a presentation of his coven, but he talks about how he doesn't have one, and he started doing some research and he finds out that he was a fairy. Everyone laughs about it because he's a nerd, he's easy to pick on, and now they have another information to pick him on because he says he's a fairy. And honestly, in my opinion, that is that he shouldn't be picked on because he's different and because he wears glasses, he's a nerd, and he's a fairy all of a sudden. And then he sees the monster, this Quirin or something, next to Alyssa, and he was going to mention it until Alyssa ends up picking on him by saying something mean. And then that happened with Hope. And so after that, what else? So Hope ends up acting like Alyssa, and Hope tells one of the students there that she likes her shoes and it looks better on her, and she just did with the snap of her finger and switched the shoes, and she's now wearing that student's shoes while the student's wearing hers. And she ends up being mean to Landon, her boyfriend, who she got back together after he broke up with her best friend Josie. And Wade saw what happened, saw that the monster was next to Hope, and he decided to go to Landon's room and tell him all about it, and Landon figured it out. And so all of a sudden, Wade and Landon hangs out while all the other students are affected, and they don't know why is that, and they had like a circle thing because Lizzie came in, and of course with her having mental issues, she didn't know what was gonna happen at that time because all she wanted was to talk to Emma. And yes, Emma, their former counselor, came back, and so Emma had Lizzie join in with their talk or something, and they had to like practice on keeping the spirit green. And out of nowhere, the monster comes there, goes on their insecurities, and they make the spirit red, and then they end up starting to fight. And then out of nowhere, they go do their thing. Then Landon and Wade researches of the monster, and out of nowhere, Lizzie and Hope couldn't like stop trying to be mean. Like they try to stop being that, and every time when they like realize what they said, they end up saying sorry and they didn't mean it. And one thing led to another. Wade went to his room, Landon went somewhere, and then out of nowhere, it leads off to Emma and Dorian fighting about her coming back, her going to Japan, and then for a job, and then her saying that Dorian is like not emotionally available, and that he didn't say anything about her Japan job offer. And then Alaric goes to his bomb expert, which is the sheriff of Mystic Falls, and he had to like come up with like something for a story and whatnot in order for the sheriff not to know what his actual intentions and finding out information on it, which was kind of shocking because it kept going back and forth. And then it leads off to Josie being in her father's office, which is Lark, and she's sitting in front of the sand block, and she thought that the person who opened the door was Lizzie because she's like, because she was saying something and whatnot, and then sees that the monster's reflection on the sand block, and she freaks out. She was gonna do something until that monster put his hand on her head and like pushed her against like the chair that was next to her, and she went unconscious. And then he took the sandblock, ran, and then like a few minutes later, Lizzie finds Josie, wakes her up after Josie saw her dark self when she had the black magic in her, and she saw that the Salvatore school gate was broken and was in flames. And then Landon and Hope comes in. Hope's asking what happened. Why did the monster need the sand block? The two just said, oh, nothing, we just need to get it back. And Landon freaks out how he's affected all of a sudden. And then he realized it, and then he came up with a plan, and he went to Wade's room. And Wade was wondering why is Landon there with him now, and that Hope was right that he's useless. And then Landon explains that fairies, they're known to give people belief and stuff. And he explains to Wade that when he was hanging out with him, he wasn't affected with the monster's powers at all. So they had like, so he, so Wade ends up hearing all the students, all his classmates cheer for him, and he was thinking that, I mean, he was happy for a second, but when the monster came there, he didn't. Ray tries to um, spread his wings out or something, and it didn't happen because he knew that his classmates didn't actually believe him. So because Hope was wondering what was happening and stuff, and she asked Wade, and then Landon's like, um, I'm gonna prove it, cause he was the one that he believes Wade. So he decides to take on the monster himself to show Wade that he believes in him and that they're friends and stuff. So he fights with the monster, and then all of a sudden he calls the monster weak, and then the monster like snaps his neck and he falls down. Hope's like, Landon, but Lizzie stops him and stops her and saying, no, don't do it yet, don't do anything. And then Ray had like a surge of power where out of nowhere his rings comes out. Everyone's shocked. It's like shock because they didn't believe that he was a fairy until his rings came out of the back of his body, and Ray starts to like use his fairy power and defeat the monster, and he did. But then after the monster got defeated, Hope ends up making the sand block go to her, and then gives it to Lizzie or Josie while she goes to Landon, and everyone's surrounding Ray, cheering him on of getting his rings and stuff. And then it leads to Josie and Lizzie in their father's office. Sorry. And Alaric tells the girls that they can go with their plan on making a new prison, which was where their Uncle Kai is in. And so they did that, but little did they know was that Alyssa's plan was, because at the ending of the episode, she talks to Emma, and she tells Emma that when Josie did a spell to make everyone remember the lost memories, they didn't have the time when Hope sacrificed herself to close Malivore. So she remembers everything. She remembers that Alaric and Emma took away her memories and sent everyone away, and so she devised a plan to make the same thing that the girls made, that Josie and Lizzie made when they were 5, when they had to trap their uncle, I guess. And then the time when they were gonna do the trapping of the sandblock into that new prison, she ends up doing like a linking spell with the two, and little did they know was that Alyssa was planning to trap them in there to teach them a lesson or to get back at them for it. So, and Emma didn't know that until after, and then I don't know where Alyssa ends up. Emma says get out of here and stuff, and then Alyssa ends up doing this spell to knock her out unconscious, but make her not remember what happened, what they were talking about. And then it goes to Alaric and the girls freaking out in the new world they were in, and it showed like the old building of the Salvatores, of Damon and Stefan's house, how it used to be before the school was made. And obviously in that moment, Sebastian came into the living room, and Lizzie was shocked to see him because she heard from her father that Sebastian went away, but then little did she know was that she finds out that her father sent him away into that prison, and they're gonna talk about it in the next episode next week. So yeah, that was a little bit shocking because when I saw Sebastian there, I was wondering, did he happen to meet Lizzie and Josie's psychotic uncle Kai? And when are they gonna end up? They're gonna end up meeting their uncle, and when their uncle's gonna meet them? So I'm excited to see how that gonna be, and how their reaction gonna be to it, and how Kai's reaction to it, because I think the last thing he remembers was that he stabbed his sister, their biological mom, at her and Alaric's wedding while she was still pregnant, and I guess he didn't know that his coven made the two survive by making Caroline grow them in her body. So I'm curious to see how he's gonna react to seeing Lizzie and Josie and then Alaric. And then Alyssa goes back to her room thinking that she's not gonna get caught and no one's not gonna notice, but then all of a sudden she sees Hope holding the contraption she made that looked exactly the same prison that Josie and Lizzie made when they were 5, and she holds it in her one hand while she used her other hand and did a spell by pushing Alyssa against the wall and asked her what she did. So I'm curious to see what happens between them in the next episode. Hopefully it's the next episode that they're going to talk about that, and then how Hope is going to get them back, knowing that the meteor shower is passing already and that it's too late to get them out. So I'm curious to see how Hope is able to do that, and then I'm curious to see how Hope and Landon's relationship still lives, or they're broken up, or something like that. But hey, who knows? And until we see the next episode. So yeah, that's what I'm really curious about. And I'm also curious on how Alaric is gonna deal with Kai, because the last time he saw Kai was that when Josie, which is their biological mom, his fiance, was sick and at their wedding. So I'm curious to see how Alaric deals with that, deals with Kai and with Sebastian, and then now with the daughters and with Lizzie finding out what happened, and to see more in the backstory in it, and to see what Kai's gonna talk about, and to see how the girls are gonna be with their uncles. So yeah, that's what I'm excited. So yeah, that's what I'm really curious about. I really want to see what's gonna happen with the Saltzman family, and with Kai coming back, and then with Sebastian, and then Hope and Alyssa's tension and stuff. So I hope you guys love this video as much as I love filming it for you guys. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tap the notification bell to always be notified when a new video is coming out, because it's always going to be weekly. And if you want, you can follow my social media that I'll be always putting down in the description. If you want to follow my journey, and if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel to follow my journey, you can. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you guys like the video. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.